Hey guys, it's Steven here. Welcome back to another episode of the Transfer Target Live, powered by Snickers Protein. As you know by now, Snickers Protein are helping fans fall back in love with the Transfer Target during the transfer window during this month. And I'm very, very excited to working alongside Snickers. It's very, very, very good stuff. And you can get involved as well using the Snickers Protein fan line. All you got to do is reply to me at Stephen McInerney using the hashtag fanline. Get your questions in and get a chance to let off the steam about Manchester City's inactivity or activity in the transfer market. And best as well, if you send a video in, that will most definitely get into these videos, by the way, if you do send a video in. And we're going to go through loads more questions today, of course. Big love to Snickers Protein, by the way, once again. And also, if you want even more deadline day content, we will be going live on Ball Street as well with the Snickers Protein fan line on the 1st of February. So look out for that on Ball Street's channel. And today, I've got some more questions. Hello to everyone joining in, by the way, in the live comments. I can see you all there. I've got a few more fan line questions to go through, so I'm going to jump into the first one that's been submitted, and this one is from Patrick Crawford. Big love to Patrick Crawford. Patrick said, Stephen, when I look at our squad and the ages of most of our players, Haaland just makes sense. He does indeed, pal. Torres, Rodri, Phil, Doyle and Ruben are all the spine of a squad that could dominate for a decade. Who else do we sign to fill in the holes of that core? It's crazy, isn't it, seeing Ruben down there with the young players, even though he is like 23, so he is pretty young. Yeah, it's weird, but he is one of those players. But anyway, in terms of who do we sign, well, obviously Haaland makes perfect sense. I mean, I want Manchester City to sign young players that could essentially fulfill the future of Manchester City. That's why the likes of Husam have been banging his drum for ages, because I feel like he's the perfect long-term replacement for your Gundogan's and for your David Silvas and all that. An intelligent footballer can do a little bit of everything. So for me, definitely him. Honestly, that would be really, really good. Someone like him. Of course, someone like a young fullback like Renan Lodi, Atletico, or maybe Ryan Aït-Nouri, the guy who's currently at Wolves. People like them would be really, really good. But other than that, our defenders are pretty young. I can't complain. Edison's got loads of time left. Rodri's pretty young. Phil Foden's pretty young. De Bruyne's got a few years left, but I'm fine for now. Bernardo's still relatively youngish. Obviously, Sterling isn't the oldest either. In terms of a winger, I don't really know there. We'll see in the future, but I'm sure someone will make a name for themselves. But that's what I would say, mate. The likes of Ryan Aït-Nouri, maybe Zakaria or Douglas Luiz or someone like that, who are all the lower 20s, and definitely Husam for me. Big love to Patrick. On to the next question. This comes from Hadley. Says, Stephen, Diego Costa is a free agent. Would you sign him on a 6-month deal just to bolster our striker options? Hashtag fanline. This question almost definitely came in before the Dzeko news today. But Hadley, I did think about it at one point, but then I decided actually Diego Costa's not been in good form for an awful long time now. And the reason I let him go is because he can't really bag a goal at all, full stop. So he'd ruffle some feathers, but I actually think Diego Costa's lifestyle and his game and all that kind of stuff has really caught up with him. I don't think he's very good anymore. So for me, it'd be a little bit too disruptive. So I'm going to pass on that one, Hadley, even though I like the idea of getting an old-time ring, which I'm sure we'll be discussing very, very soon. For me right now, Diego Costa is a little bit too much. He's a bit too much. Too extra for me, unfortunately. So I'm going to pass on Diego Costa. But a good player, but probably not right for Manchester City right now. And the final fan-like question of the day comes from D. DeRuff, Robust Ruben. It says, Stephen, our defence has been great this season, but one area of defence we still need to sort out is left back. Do you think we should get Angelino back or look elsewhere? That's very true, mate. I mean, to be honest, what I will say is that I've grown more and more behind the idea of Zinchenko being very useful to this side. There's a great friend on Twitter today which I shared about a guy who explained in detail the thoughts behind Guardiola's methods and why people like Zinchenko are very, very useful. He's so involved in our build-up play, and because he's less risky than Cancelo in terms of his approach, it actually helps our defensive stability and it helps us kind of control the midfield. We've got a really freakish record of pretty much winning every game when Zinchenko plays, and it could have been a coincidence, but it's more than a statistical anomaly right now. So I think Zinchenko should hang around. Maybe we got someone like Alaba. You know, apparently we offered him loads of money. Someone like that would be genuinely good. I don't think Mendy's reliable, so I do agree we need an alternative. But I do like this idea of a conservative left back like Zinchenko who can help the midfield while Cancelo does all the crazy risky stuff. And I like that idea. So I'm kind of growing on the idea of Zinchenko doing really well and keeping him around the squad. But Mendy replacement, I would love an option. Angelino, I would love to give him another go, but I just can't see it for whatever reason. If I was doing it, I would do it, but I can't see Cheeky and Varane and Guardiola admitting that they were wrong again about Angelino. So personally, I can't see it. But I think we'll look elsewhere. I think we'll go for, the likes of Lucas Dean at Everton, or maybe we'll go for Renan Lodi or Theo Hernandez. I haven't got a clue on that front. Tagliafico was a genuine link. We'll see on that front. Big love, though, to you, mate, for the comment. Don't forget, you can get your questions in using the hashtag fanline. Best stuff, send a video if you want to, and that will almost definitely be answered, because it's good to get some videos of you guys asking your questions in, replying to me at Stephen McInerney using the hashtag fanline. And don't forget as well, if you do send a video or a tweet in, you do consent to your name and your comments being used in these videos. So big love to everyone. Hope everyone's well today. Of course, we've got loads more talking points to go through. Let me quickly just go close the door, because Nick has just turned the shower on. 1 second. There we go. Nick has just decided to turn the shower on. It got very loud. So anyway, Snickers Protein. Awesome. They're really nice, by the way. You should try them if you haven't already. I'm genuinely really, really nice. But anyway, let's get on to the actual news from today. We got loads of talking points. Is everyone good in the comments? Are you all very well? Don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button as well. I'm closing in on 50k. It'll be really good to get. Hello to everyone. Hello to Tiger. Hello to Manchester's boy and Moni and Auntie and Travo and Moni Fernandez and AA and JMC and the Formidables and Sean and everyone else there, and Rich Oconut or something like that. Good evening to all of you. Hope you're all really well. We're going to chat about transfers for the next 20 minutes or so. It'll be good to chat away to you all. So let's get over to 100 likes if you don't mind. In terms of the headlines today, as you can see scrolling at the bottom, and the video, video title is about Dzeko potentially returning to Manchester City. It seems very thinly sourced, but it is a discussion that people have been discussing around today, and it's interesting to talk about. And allegedly, a little bit about Manchester City apparently offering a bumper per year deal to David Alaba. And also a bit of an update about KDB contract talks, and apparently City being interested in interesting and young players. We're going to start initially with that Dzeko story. What does everyone reckon about it? What does everyone reckon? What are you saying, Brillo? Brillo's lying again, is it? Brillo lying about confirmed stuff. I'm pretty certain Brillo once made up a rumour as well. What does everyone reckon about it? I mentioned Dzeko a while back. I'm kind of torn about this. I have reminded myself that Dzeko used to drive me mad every now and then. Obviously, Dzeko's the kind of person who's very likeable, and obviously he's been involved in what we do. But Dzeko, it's worth pointing out, Dzeko was often very frustrating. His touch could have been terrible, and sometimes he was lazy, and sometimes he missed an awful lot of chances as well. He genuinely did. So every now and then, it can be very frustrating. But what I can't deny is that Dzeko does have a hunger for goals. He does have an ability to sniff out chances, and he would be a very different option. Now, the argument is, do we need that option? It's a very different way of playing. Would he be just a backup player every now and then for us? What if Aguero gets fit again? What if Jesus finds form? Do we really have the space for Dzeko to come back to Manchester City on a big wage and basically not be involved? You've got to add all these questions, you know. It's not as simple as that. Does he potentially block Liam Delap from getting more chances? There's loads and loads of things, but at the same time, he's a City legend, you know, as Williams was pointed out. He's a City legend. Coming back for 6 months, he could be very useful. In terms of the actual story, well, let me get it up for you now. Apparently, it's via Sport Witness that the idea is that City could go for him, which is a bit weird, and then offer him an executive deal at the end, whatever that means. I reckon it'll be like an ambassador thing with the City Football Group, if that's a real thing. It'd be very interesting, of course. Dzeko is a very good footballer and a very likeable guy, and he obviously has a massive love for Manchester City, given everything he's been through with City, and the fans are very confident. But it'd be weird. It'd be weird if he came back. I mean, he'd be an option, of course. I don't think he's as good as we realise anymore personally, but he is a goal scorer. I can't deny that. I think he'd be frustrating, but an interesting option. And I'm very torn emotionally about this idea. Now, Fabrizio Romano was discussing it today on his podcast, I think, and he said, with important clubs, no, there is nothing. I think we can move from Dzeko at the moment. There's nothing serious. It would be an opportunity, but at the moment, there's nothing. And he didn't mention City either, so Fabrizio Romano thinks even though Dzeko wants to go at the moment, there's no real kind of concrete evidence that it may actually happen. Never mind for City, for any club at all. So it's a really interesting one. Let me get to your thoughts on this. Jerry said, and what if Haaland comes? Well, Jerry, the only way I can see this working is if it's a short-term thing for 6 months. We can't sign Dzeko on a long-term thing. There's absolutely no chance. If it's a signing like Dzeko, you only want him on a 6-month contract or a short-term one. It'd make no sense to me to sign him for a long-term deal. He's like nearly 35. His best years are behind him, and his goal-scoring record has dipped a little bit. Martin said, if Delap can get a sniff, I would snub Dzeko, but I don't see Delap getting any meaningful minutes. Yeah, probably. it'd be an emotional comeback for Middlesbrough Centurions. It would indeed. The only problem is we wouldn't be there to celebrate with him, which would be a bit of a shame. And it kind of does remove a bit of the fun of this, actually. Centurions, I don't know. I'd never seen any Football Terrace videos, so I don't know. I have no idea. And he's a clickbait merchant, I presume. So I presume... So I presume not. So I presume I won't watch the video because I'm not really interested. I love Dzeko, but he isn't dynamic enough so as to be a starting centre forward, says Aaron. But for the last 10-15 minutes in a game, yes, he would be great. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. He would be a decent option, and I wouldn't be upset for obvious emotional reasons. But I do think we've all got some slight blue-tinted specks on this, and we look back and go, oh, God, Dzeko was beautiful and perfect. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't perfect. He was often very frustrating, but he's obviously a good player, and he would be an option, but I wouldn't expect him to... change the world. People keep saying Man City have already rejected Dzeko. Where are you getting this from? Is this just some more reports? Because City obviously don't announce that they don't announce that they're rejecting players, of course. So that would be. I'm not sure where you're getting. Not sure where you're getting that from. Obviously, there's contrarian reports, but I'm not sure City have come out of there and said, no, we won't be getting Dzeko. That's obviously not really a thing, is it? Unless you're reading something that I haven't read, I'd be very surprised if that's the case. Please, don't forget not to spam in the comments if you don't mind. But for me, Dzeko would be... It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. By the way, my honest opinion on this is I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it will. I think there's too many hoops to jump through there. And I think City will be too conscious of ripping up what currently works for them. And I think they'll be hoping as well that Aguero comes back, which would then necessarily mean that Dzeko is kind of useless, unfortunately. So I don't really see it. So yeah, that's what I reckon. Brillo saying Dzeko was never good. He was a good player. He clearly was. He was a bit frustrated every now and then, but he was clearly a good footballer and clearly knew his way towards goal. One thing that Dzeko had, which is a really interesting trait, was that he sometimes missed the easy chances, which is the one we're frustrated about. And sometimes Dzeko would bang him in from a weird angle. He'd score the harder chances sometimes, which is very strange, but that was Dzeko in a nutshell. In terms of the other headlines, by the way, Diario, which are a big Spanish news outlet, I think they are, via, once again, Sport Witness. Apparently, Diario have said that City have offered 40 million euros per season to David Alaba, which is obviously very, very interesting. Now, apparently Madrid aren't willing to go ahead of 11 million euros. Though Alaba's desire is to play in Spain. I think that's probably true, by the way. I do think Madrid will probably offer a little bit less than City, but I do think Alaba would be fine with that and probably want to go to Madrid anyway, because I can just imagine him playing there. Everything seems to kind of link that way. I don't think he'd want to come to rainy, miserable Manchester. I think he'd just fancy a few years in the sun as his career winds down. But I would like Alaba to come in personally. I think he's a fantastic footballer. Very similar to Zinchenko's take on this role, probably, by the way. But obviously a bit better. Well, not a bit better, just better. And Alaba is an intelligent footballer, a winner, a leader, a fantastic, brilliant footballer. And to be honest, I would love the idea of Alaba teaching Dzeko how to play. I've just seen Zinchenko how to play that role perfectly. I've just seen someone said... Jeremy Frimpong's off to Leverkusen for 11.5 million. Is that actually true, Aaron Brooks? Because that's a cracking deal for Celtic and for Man City. Frimpong, by the way, is a really good footballer. They loved him at Celtic last year, Frimpong, but this year he's been pretty poor. But then again, Celtic have been terrible. And once again, a Celtic should realise is that a player doesn't become a bad player overnight. If Frimpong's form was dropped and all of Celtic's form was dropped, it's probably because Celtic have been poorly managed, unfortunately, by a very poor manager. So Frimpong clearly has ability, and I think they're justifying it themselves. I think they're justifying it by Celtic fans by saying, well, he's not that good anymore, but he's a very good player. But that would be a good deal for them, for Celtic, because he's a good player. And I'd be happy for Frimpong as well. But Alaba, yes. Would you take Alaba? Let me know in the comments. Joe, how tempted I am to eat this now. I'm absolutely starving. It'd be very, very tempted. But I'm going to ignore the Snickers Protein for right now and get it after this video. Alaba for me would be really good, but I can't really see it. I can't really see Alaba coming to Manchester City, unfortunately. Elsewhere, apparently the KDB contract talks are just ongoing. You know, according to reports, both parties are just fine with it. And do you know what? Yeah, I've got no worries about Kevin De Bruyne signing a new contract. Genuinely no worries whatsoever. I don't see any reason to be worried about that. He'll stay at Manchester City. He'll stay there and he'll be absolutely fine. So don't worry about De Bruyne extending. It will definitely happen. We just got to be patient with these things. I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it during the video. My transfer targets are now powered by Snickers Protein, Yusuf, indeed. Transfer target ASMR. They are really nice, by the way. I'm just saying that as my genuine opinion. Apparently as well, according to Fabrizio Romano, City are interested in interesting and young players. We are building for the future, which is the kind of stuff I want to see, man. I want to see these young, interesting players coming, whoever they are, be Haaland, be Husamawa, be Douglas Luiz or Zakari or something like that. I can't really think who we're going to sign at left back. I've got no idea who it would be. It might just be something really obvious like Lucas Digne or Theo Hernandez or Renan Lodi or something like that. Or it could be some random left field, no pun intended, random out of the blue signing that we don't all know. It'd be very, very interesting either way. Rafael Charles, I don't think Dzeko is coming back, but there are rumours that City are considering it. I don't think it'll happen, and I think it's mainly just paper talk, personally. Lagan Cow, I did see the Josh Doig thing, but I know absolutely nothing about it, and I've not researched it, so I'll mention that in tomorrow's video. Genuinely. So I'll mention that tomorrow about Josh Doig. He seems like a good player, but he's only 18, from what I can tell, and he's obviously not going to be the future Manchester City's left back just yet. It could be that we just bring Angelino back, by the way. I mean, Angelino coming back as an option. Maybe Zinchenko is actually the future. Like, Zinchenko, like, City just win games with City win games with Zinchenko's playing, and we genuinely do. So, if it works, it works. And I think the myth about him being not that good defensive is just kind of that. I think he's massively improved, and fair play to the guy. He's a good footballer, Zinchenko. He's a very good footballer. Tiago Brito saying, I'm from Brazil and I love Renan Lodi. He's insane. I've not watched him. Can someone tell me what he's like, man? I've not watched him play, but apparently he's really good. I'm not one of those channels who'll tell you something about a player if I've not seen them. I generally haven't got a clue, so I can't tell you that. I say with Alaba and Zakaria, that would be really interesting, Jamie. It'd be very, very interesting. Well, we can't bring Angelino back, can we? No, I'm pretty certain actually it's a deal like where, I mean, both teams can cancel it if they want to. I'm sure if RB wanted to cancel it and City wanted him back, then I'm sure they could probably organise that. But I can't really see it personally. It seems very much like it's done. It'd have to be one of those things where both teams agree. But in terms of these rumours, my honest opinions is that Dzeko, I don't really see him coming back personally. It's interesting. I think the City might have considered it, but I can't really see it happening. I think there's too many things to consider. I think in the end, City will consider it unnecessary overall. I think they'll see that it's working and hope for Aguero coming back to add to this team as opposed to Dzeko coming to add to this team, if that makes sense. They'll see it as trust in Aguero or trust in Dzeko, and I think they'll choose to trust in Aguero personally. That makes an awful lot of sense. Have you seen us linked to the Brazilian attacker Wonderkid? You heard about Veron? I have seen it, but once again, I've not really done much research on him, Ronnie, and I'm going to mention him tomorrow's video, I reckon, definitely. Very, very interesting. Kieran, I would definitely prefer Cancelo on the left. Definitely Cancelo on the right and Zinchenko on the left, as opposed to Walcott on the right and Cancelo on the left. Personally, I think it's more balanced. I think you get a lot more from that. But you never know. I don't mind Walker being involved as well, of course. I'm happy with any of those combinations. As long as Cancelo's in the team at the moment, I'm very much happy with it. But I think Zinchenko's really adding more to Manchester City's game than we realise at the moment. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Just a nice short video chatting about, I say it's short, it's 20 minutes long, but my voice is getting a bit tired today. But don't forget, if you want your questions answered in the Snickers Protein fan line, all you got to do is tweet at me with the hashtag fanline. And you'll get your videos and questions answered. You send a video in as well. It'd be good to get some videos on the channel at the moment. Big love to everyone who's been watching. And thank you, of course, as well to everyone who's helped support the channel at the moment. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Do get those likes up. It'd be massively appreciated. I'm getting closer and closer to 49k, which means I'm getting closer to 50k, and I can't wait. I'm at 48,860. I need 40 more subs to get to 48,900, and that means I'm very, very close to 50k then after that. Big love to everyone. Have a good, wonderful evening. Go watch my 5 Things Learned video from earlier on today. For now, though, I'm going to go and chill. See you later, guys. Snickers Protein. Really nice, honestly. In a bit.